Before the World Cup started, Coach Steve Kerr was so impressed with Jalen Brunson. I think Jalen is such a natural leader. He's the one who's leading the 1-2-3 USA chant. Some guys just, it comes naturally to them. So Anthony Edwards was supposed to come off the bench, but once games actually started, Ant-Man took over. He naturally became the alpha dog on a team full of talent. It's what he's done in the NBA. In Ant's very first playoff game, he dropped 36 points and 6 dimes in a win over the Grizzlies. Dude is made for the spotlight. But one of his ex-teammates said that spotlight is not in Minnesota.
Does he need to get out of Minnesota?
He will get out of Minnesota.
Okay.
I mean, that's just what happens.
The evolution.
Okay.
And that's no disrespect to Minnesota.
No.
It's just, you feel me, with that personality, he can change the world with basketball.
Where should he go?
Personality.
So not to put you on the spot, where should he go?
You gotta go, I mean, obviously.
Big market?
It has to be big
LA,
market.
New York.
Oh, no, from Pat Bev? I mean, this isn't some random talking head on TV like Skip Bayless, or me. Pat Bev has love for Minnesota. He's just being brutally honest. And fans love him back because Bev toughened their team up and returned them to the playoffs. They have to take what he says seriously. But is he actually right? What are the chances Ant leaves the Timberwolves? But first, this year, AM Hoops is riding with Underdog Fantasy because we are gonna play higher, lower, just like last year throughout the season. But also on Underdog, we can have fantasy leagues just for AM Hoops members and tons of other games. And it is all just to make watching basketball even more fun. I am already playing because football season is here. You can see, obviously you win some and you lose some. You just pick your favorite players or any player really and pick higher or lower than the stat that's given. I'm gonna do a community post on this channel about my picks for Thursday Night Football. All you do is pick 2 to 5 players and you can up to 20x your money in a single night. You can play in states like California, Florida, or Texas, really any of these states that you see here, but sign up with the promo code AMHOOPS. You get your first deposit doubled up to $100. Visit UnderdogFantasy.com or find them in the App Store. Do not forget to register with the promo code AMHOOPS. Get your first deposit doubled up to $100. Well, they have a few years to get things right. He just signed a Supermax extension that doesn't even kick in until next year. He is locked up until 2029. But why would he ever demand a trade? Bev's point here is that Ant deserves to be on a big-time franchise. Compared the man to Michael Jordan, said he doesn't even drink or smoke, just loves to compete. Nick Young said, "This is Anthony Edwards' league now, the new MJ. That boy looks just like MJ out there." Are you sure? Cause MJ would be on national TV every night, but Edwards is on national TV like TNT, ESPN, or ABC 5 times. The Thunder are on more than that. Why does that even matter? Because it means the world gets to watch. And guys like Charles Barkley make funny comments. Mike Breen is yelling bang. It's where the best players play. But the NBA doesn't think little old Anthony Edwards is worth it. Why not? Killer instinct in big moments like MJ, and we have got to see interviews with Ant and Shaq.
Meet me at Lake Minnetonka, all Minnesota fans. I'm going back out there, jet skis, everything. We're gonna have fun.
Can you swim?
Yeah, like Michael Phelps.
Like Michael Phelps?
Yeah.
But the problem is not being in a small market. The problem is the team. The NBA doesn't actually care what size city you play in. They care how many people watch. I mean, the Warriors are the #1 TV team because of how popular they are. That's because of, 4 championships in 8 years. Before Steph Curry got there, it was rare to see a Warriors jersey outside of the Bay Area. Now, they're the second most popular team on social media behind the LA Lakers. Look back at that TV list. The Nuggets and Suns are top 5, which only happened because they are winning. So what's holding the next MJ back? His team. The Wolves were just sold to new owners, including baseball legend Alex Rodriguez. Ownership's #1 job is to build a winner around Ant. The problem is they already went all in and failed. The Rudy Gobert trade was the dumbest move in recent history. No one understood it at the time. It's only gotten worse. Yes, Gobert transformed them to a top 10 defense, but the result was still a first round exit. I am not saying Rudy is a bad player, not at all. but they paid for him like he's Giannis Antetokounmpo. Control of 5 first-round picks, role players, and Walker Kessler, who is 3rd in Rookie of the Year voting. In a league with 29 other teams, smart teams, doing everything they can to win, you can't afford a huge mistake like that. It kills their ability to trade, to draft, and he's on a max contract. How do you get good role players when you've got Gobert, Cat, and Ant all maxed out? You can't. You're stuck with that big 3. So the only move left is to trade Karl Anthony Towns. Cat has shown some huge red flags lately. Yes, he was dominant for Dominican Republic at the World Cup, but in Minnesota, it's a different story. Cat was extremely hyped as the #1 overall pick in 2015. In 2016, NBA GMs were asked, starting a team today, who would you most want to build around? The #1 answer was Cat over Kevin Durant and LeBron James. But doubts crept in after they signed Jimmy Butler. In Cat's 3rd season, Jimmy led the Wolves back to the playoffs for the first time in 14 years. In Cat's first 2 playoff games, he scored 8 points and then 5 points on just 9 shots a night. Weirdly passive, but okay, it was his first ever playoff experience, no big deal. But after Butler demanded a trade, reports said Jimmy was frustrated with the nonchalant attitudes of his younger teammates, specifically Karl Anthony Towns. Uh-oh! It sounds like Cat was believing all his own hype, but not actually getting it done on the court. But the years after all that were tough. Not only did Cat lose family members to COVID, but he lost a lot of basketball games. He was no longer considered the future of the NBA, and maybe now a lot more humble. Until that Pat Bev podcast.
I feel like when my time's up and I retire and I put the shoes up and I say, you know what, Pat? Me, the kids and the wife, we gonna head out to the sunset and enjoy life. I feel like there's gonna be people who are gonna say, you know, that I changed the game.
What? I'm sorry, no one is gonna say that. This dude still thinks it's 2016. But if that wasn't bad enough, remember when Pat Bev celebrated like they won the championship when they just won a play-in game? Remember that? Well, listen to Cat comparing that to the Nuggets championship.
It was more special what we did in Minnesota because we had like a month, and then we had training camp, and it was like, you better figure it all out right now. Yeah. And we really figured it out. And then like we got that done quick. Think about it. They had what? Jokic been in the league
4 years.
4 years. If you think about it, 4 years, we got it done in 4 months.
Right.
Oh, so Wolves play-in more special than Nuggets championship. Got it. That is called out of touch with reality. So it's not a surprise that in 1 year, Anthony Edwards walked in and took over that franchise. Everyone knew, yeah, it's already time to build around Ant, not Cat. So what options do they have? Well, Cat actually said on that podcast that he hears the rumors. Bleacher Report said executives think Karl Anthony Towns will be long gone ahead of the 24-25 campaign. Some even believe Minnesota would jump at an opportunity. But then the Portland Trailblazers came out and said, we have no interest because his trade value is so confusing. I mean, how much do you pay for an out-of-touch all-star who disappears in playoff games, but the upside is he's a great three-point shooting big man who can still put up 60. He's in his prime. Yeah, I do think a few teams could need a young player like that. The Nets, the Hawks, the Rockets, the Pelicans, and the Hornets come to mind. They all have the need and the assets to get it done, whether it is through players to send or picks. But that is the only real move to build around Anthony Edwards. Pat Bev is wrong about him definitely leaving, but the Wolves must make a big trade to support his talent. Kind of like getting Klay Thompson. Okay, I'm not saying that's actually what the Wolves should do, but Klay might be looking for another team very soon. Check it out.